appears that it's all eyes on George Kambosos. I'll explain what I mean. And in a way, it kind of makes Teofimo Lopez look like he's a kind of like was avoided. And I'll explain what I mean in a minute. But let's just talk about who has their eyes on George Kambosos and who may loosely have their eyes on him. We don't know yet. But let's talk about Tank Davis real quick. Well, we know Floyd has been stepping in the middle of not allowing Tank Davis and Devin Haney to fight. Of not letting Tio and Tank to fight. I really don't understand why they haven't fought. You know, Tio had those belts for quite a while. Never heard anything about Floyd trying to make the fight. Period. But now that Tio lost and George Kambosos has the belts, I've seen people say they believe there might be a chance there might be a chance that Floyd Mayweather might try to get a Kambosos versus Tank Davis fight. Now, I don't know how true that is. We don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But this is why that fight, that Eddie Hearn, they're going to have to jump on that fight between Devin and Kambosos immediately. Because we don't want Floyd to come in and swoop Kambosos and try to make a Kambosos versus Tank fight. But see, he'll probably dangle a carrot in front of people to try to get that fight made because they believe that George Kambosos is food, bro. I really believe they think George Kambosos is food. He's a pushover. They feel like he's more of a threat. I mean, Teofimo was more of a threat than Kambosos is. Mainly maybe because of Tio's power and stuff like that. I really believe that. Because if that's what happens, if Floyd comes out and he tries to do something like that, that's what I think the reason was. Now, I don't think George Kambosos would be about that, though, because it's clear that he wants to be undisputed and he wants the Devin Haney fight. He said it. He wants to fight. He's going to show up at the Jojo Diaz fight. We'll see what happens with that. Then we got Ryan Garcia. He's over here talking about he wants to fight George Kambosos now. And I'm like, where have you... First of all, bro, Ryan Garcia, man, somebody need to just whip his ass, pack him up, and get him the fuck up out of here. He's been talking a lot of shit like he's always been doing, from talking about Devin when he almost, when he got hurt by Linares, to lying, talking about he's about to fight Tank and going on Mike Tyson's podcast. And he's just been a real funny style character, man. He's been really a prima donna, pretty much. Now, like, I look at Ryan Garcia pretty much like he's just like an entertainment figure in boxing. It's almost like he's on like the level of a Jake Paul. And it's sad to say that because Ryan Garcia had potential, and it's almost like he never was really a boxer. He's a real official boxer because he can box. But to me, he's reduced to the level of a Jake and Logan Paul, man. That's the way I see Ryan Garcia now. I see him almost as like a sideshow almost in boxing. But he's talking about he wants to fight George Kambosos, and I'm like, okay, but where were you? Why didn't you want to fight Tio when he had the belts? You see what I mean? So it's these dudes coming out doing this is making it look like they're giving Tio some kind of validation. Like, it's almost like they were afraid to fight for the belts when Tio had the belts. But now that Kambosos got the belts, because they still think Kambosos is the weakest link. Now all of a sudden they want to fight for the belts now. And the only difference is Devin Haney. He's the one. He's the only champion at that division besides Kambosos. So it's only right he would want to fight Kambosos. Devin wanted to fight Tio, so it wasn't like he wasn't calling out Tio when Tio had the belts. He wanted to fight Tio when he had the belts. So it's different with Devin. The Tank thing, it might, if that's really true, then if they come out and say that they want to fight Kambosos as well, then you know what that's all about. They didn't want to smoke with Tio, as funny as it might sound, right? Because I think Tank smokes Tio. Then you got Ryan Garcia. He straight just running his mouth. He could be very well serious though. He probably look at, oh, sure, it's an easy route for me to get those belts because I think I could beat Kambosos. After I guess seeing Kambosos get knocked down, they figure he gonna be a cakewalk. But I think Kambosos smokes Ryan Garcia too. I think he smokes Ryan Garcia. I'm not sure about Tank. I don't know, man. Look, we can say what we want. People say Tank can't box. Yes, he can. Yes, he can box. He can box. I mean, I never understood what people say Tank can't box. He's just a brawler. He's not a brawler. Like, what fights these dudes be watching to say Tank can't fight? Like, he can't box. So, Tank might be a real issue for Kambosos, man. He probably can knock Kambosos out. You know, it's a strong possibility, man. If he got hit with what he got hit with in the 10th round, he probably would have got hurt a little bit more than when T.O. hurt him. You know, because, you know, now he's saying T.O.'s arm was messed up, his elbow. That's why he wasn't getting good leverage on his punches. I'm like, oh, God, here we go. Here we go. But there's no guarantee that Tank would knock out Kambosos. Kambosos used him saying, he used his legs, move around, and if he do exactly what he did against T.O. and with a few subtle differences, there's a chance Kambosos could beat Tank. You know, but Ryan Garcia, nah, he beats Ryan Garcia. You know, so when these dudes are putting all of this emphasis into fighting Kambosos now, that actually makes T.O. look good because none of them wanted to fight T.O. They wasn't doing this. They wasn't calling out T.O. when he had the belts. And you got to ask yourself, why is that? Why wasn't they calling out T.O.? But now they're calling out Kambosos. So they kind of exposing themselves. And then Floyd comes out, oh, yeah, I think Kambosos and Tank Davis would be a good fight after this Eastside Cruz fight. Nah, bro, we see what you're doing. See, you trying to pick the weakest link for Tank to fight, and you think Kambosos, and there'll be another cherry going wrong more than likely, man, if he gets outboxed by Kambosos, you know what I'm saying? But the only valid fighter right now would be Devin Haney, because the only one that you can tell that you can separate him from the rest of them, because he wasn't just going after Kambosos, he was going after T.O. So that's a difference. The rest of them, they wasn't trying to make no fight with T.O. You know, so it's the way I see it, man. But it's all eyes on your boy, Killer Kambosos, right now. Much love and respect to him. Even T.O., man. You know what I mean? I know I've been dumping on him lately, but still, you know, he still went in there and fought. He still gave it what he had to give, and I gotta respect that as well. But anyway, yo, I'm off this. I just don't like the excuses though. You know, like, don't do all that shit. But I'm off this, man. You know what y'all think? Drop a comment, like and subscribe. Catch y'all later on the next one. Peace.